When you look at a company's financial statement, it's easy to just see a bunch of numbers. But what if I told you that every single one tells a story, not just about profit and loss, but about its real core purpose? Today, we're going to look at the financial stories of two totally different organizations, a massive public power company and a small local co-op, to see what their numbers actually reveal about who they are.
So, first question, do all businesses handle their finances in the same way? The short answer? No, not even close. You see, accounting rules aren't some one-size-fits-all thing. How an organization manages its money is tied directly to its mission. You could say that finance always follows function.
Think of it like this. Financial statements are basically an organization's DNA. They reveal its genetic code, its core identity, and the DNA of a giant public utility, something built to last for generations and provide an essential service. Well, that's going to look completely different from the DNA of a local co-op, which is built by its members for its members.
So, let's start with the giant. How on earth does a company that manages these huge power grids, we're talking billion-dollar plants, how did they even begin to account for all that money? Well, it turns out they use a special method, one designed specifically for this kind of enormous, long-term business.
It's called the double account system. And honestly, its core idea is surprisingly simple when you break it down. It's all about drawing a really clear line between two different kinds of money. On one side, you have the massive, long-term investments, the power plants, the grid itself. And on the other, you've got all the day-to-day stuff, the cash coming in and going out.
The easiest way to think about it is like having two pockets. First, you've got the forever pocket. That's the capital account. This holds all the permanent, foundational stuff, the land, the buildings, the power plants, the grid. Then you have the daily pocket, or the revenue account. This is way more like a cash register. Money comes in from selling energy, and money goes right back out for fuel, paying salaries, and making repairs. The whole system is designed to keep that permanent foundation totally separate from the daily churn.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Electricity isn't some luxury good, right? It's an essential public service. And because of that, these companies can't just go out and maximize their profit at any cost. There are specific rules in place to make sure they balance their own financial health with the public's need for fair prices.
And this brings us to this key concept called a reasonable return. Essentially, their profit is capped. It's calculated based on their total capital investment, everything in that forever pocket, plus the standard bank rate. The whole point is to make sure they can maintain the grid and stay afloat, but not by overcharging you and me.
So what if they have a great year and make more than that reasonable profit? Well, what happens to that extra cash, that surplus, really shows their public service DNA. Only a small, limited piece actually goes back to the company. A big chunk gets moved into a reserve fund for future rainy days. And the rest? It gets returned directly to the customers, usually as rebates on their bills or just lower rates. The profit is literally shared back with the public.
Okay, so that's the giant. Now let's completely switch gears and look at our second character, the community-owned cooperative society. As you're about to see, its financial DNA tells a very, very different story.
And it's cool because our source material for this explainer, a financial accounting textbook from the University of Mumbai, does this exact same thing. It lays out the rules for the giant public utility, and then it dedicates a whole other chapter to the unique rules that govern these community-first organizations.
And according to that textbook, a co-op is a voluntary organization formed for the purpose of promoting and protecting the interests of its members. That right there is the entire mission. It's not about serving the general public, it's about creating a mutual benefit for a specific group of people who have come together voluntarily.
Now, co-ops do make a profit, but their accounting story isn't really about how much they make. It's about what the law requires them to do with it. Every single dollar of profit has a legally mandated purpose.
This chart just says it all, doesn't it? Look at how a co-op's net profit is legally carved up. A full 25% must go into a reserve fund to keep the organization stable. And notice that dividends from members are capped at just 15%, while big chunks are set aside for things like education and charity. The goal isn't to maximize shareholder returns, it's to strengthen the co-op itself and reinvest right back into its community.
So, when we put these two stories side by side, what do their financials really tell us? What does their DNA truly reveal about them?
I mean, look at this contrast. The DNA is just fundamentally different. The utility company is coded for public service. Its profits are regulated and returned to the public, and its capital is all about permanent infrastructure. The co-op, on the other hand, is coded for member benefit. Its profits are appropriated and reinvested, and its capital comes from the community it serves.
It just proves that accounting rules aren't just dry regulations, they're the actual blueprints of an organization's purpose.
Which kind of leaves you with a question to think about. From your bank, to your grocery store, to your internet provider, what does the financial DNA of the businesses you interact with every single day really say about their true purpose?